For dinner tonight, I am making smothered shrimp with andouille sausage. If you're familiar with my page, you know that this is one of our favorite meals. I've made different variations of this, like shrimp etouffee, gumbo, or things like that. We love it. And but today, I'm actually using EMERIL'S recipe. There's one particular ingredient that he uses in there that is very intriguing to me. So I'm gonna give it a try. So here I have 1.5 pounds of shrimp, and I'm just peeling the shells because we're actually going to use the shells to make the shrimp stock, and this shrimp is humongous. To make the shrimp stock, here I have the shrimp shells that I've rinsed, onion, celery, and some carrots. You're also going to need some bay leaves, smashed garlic, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of whole peppercorn, 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, and now we're just going to add enough water to cover by 1 inch. We're going to season the shrimp with some salt, black pepper, a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, a little oregano, thyme, and Old Bay seasoning. And then we're just gonna give this a quick toss and set it to the side. All right, so I've got the shrimp stock cooking in the back. That's going to take about 45 minutes. And from time to time, I'm just going to remove the foam that has formed on the surface. I know this takes a while, but I promise you it's worth it. And a lot of the work is really just waiting on the shrimp stock to cook. And in the meantime, oops, I'm making a mess here. I'm going to be serving this over some grits. And now I'm just going to shred some cheddar. So now I'm going to get started on the grits. So you're going to need 4 cups of liquid per 1 cup of grits. You can use water, but here I'm just going to use chicken stock. Once the broth comes to a rapid boil, we're going to slowly add the grits while whisking. And now we're just going to lower the heat, cover, and cook for 20 minutes or until it has thickened. And now we're going to get started on the smothered shrimp and andouille sausage. Here I've got bell pepper, green onion, tomatoes, shallot, onion, and a whole bunch of garlic. Add about 1 tablespoon of oil. Once the oil is hot, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of butter. And now we're just going to add our shrimp and cook this for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. And you may have to do this in 2 batches. Now we're just going to remove the shrimp onto a plate or bowl. We're just going to finish cooking the rest of the shrimp. Add another tablespoon of butter into the skillet. Here I got about 1 pound of andouille sausage that I cut into small coins. And this is the brand of andouille sausage that I'm using. All right, and now we're just going to add our onion, add a little pinch of salt, and we're just going to saute this for about 4 minutes. All right, the onion is sweating, and now I'm just going to add our bell pepper. We're gonna add our shallot, garlic, and the white part of the green onion. Give this a toss, and we're just going to cook this for about 3 minutes. And now we're going to add the tomatoes. All right, our shrimp stock is done, and now I'm just going to carefully strain it. Look how beautiful and rich this stock is. We're only going to need about 1 cup of stock. We're just going to save the rest for other recipes. And now I'm just going to add the shrimp stock, about 1 cup. We're going to let this simmer for about 5 minutes. And now I'm just going to add a little bit of seasoning, some salt, black pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, dried thyme, and oregano, and add a couple of bay leaves. I'm also going to add a little Worcestershire sauce, just a little bit. Give this a stir, and now we're just going to let this simmer for about 5 minutes. All right, so here we've got some sour cream. This is that one ingredient that EMERIL uses that I mentioned earlier. So he uses 1/3 cup, but I think I'm just going to start with about 1/4 cup. Give it a stir. I've never seen sour cream used in like smothered shrimp and andouille or shrimp etouffee or gumbo or anything like that. So I was curious, and I just figured, you know what, let's give it a try, see what it's going to taste like. I'm sure it's going to be fine. And we're also going to return the shrimp back into the skillet. Now we're just going to fold the shrimp into the sauce. Now let's give this a try. You know what? I think it works here, but I probably wouldn't add more than a 1/4 cup for myself, but it is really good. Let's check on our grits. Oh, it's nice and thick here. All right, let's give this a stir. That is actually the perfect consistency. And now I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of butter, about a 1/2 cup of heavy cream. You can add more if you like. Gently give this a stir. And now we're going to add our cheddar, and you can add as much cheddar as you like. Here I have the sharp cheddar, and I'm also going to add a little bit of yellow cheddar. Give this a stir. All right, you guys, I am starving and I'm ready to eat, so let's plate everything. All right, we're gonna start with some grits. Smothered shrimp right on top like that. Oh my God, that looks amazing. Let's get a couple of andouille sausage here. Now you can garnish with a little bit of parsley, but I myself prefer green onion, so that's what I'm going to add. Let's give this a try. I got a little bit of shrimp, some grits, and andouille sausage. I can really see why I make this so often. For dinner tonight, I am making baked Cornish hens. I pat it dry, place it in the refrigerator for about 20 minutes so that the skin can be completely dry, and that will create a crispier texture. I'm just going to pat it dry one more time just to be safe. And now we are ready to season them. So here we've got a 1/4 cup of olive oil, chicken bouillon, salt, garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, black pepper, and also zest from 1 lemon. And now we're just going to give it a whisk. And now we're just going to pour this all over the hens. Now you just want to make sure the hens are coated with the seasoning, and don't forget the cavity. And now we're going to bake these in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 50 to 60 minutes, or until the internal temperature reaches 165 degrees Fahrenheit. So while the hens are cooking in the oven, here I've got some yellow baby potatoes. I'm just going to cut it in half and leave it in an ice water for a little bit. This helps remove some of the starch. I just added a little bit of olive oil into a pan, and now I'm just going to put it in the oven. Now we're going to boil our potatoes, add some salt into some boiling water. We're going to cook the potatoes for about 5 to 7 minutes. After about 7 minutes, the potatoes are fork tender. We're going to remove this from the water. Now carefully remove the pan that's been in the oven. Now add the potatoes. And now you just want to make sure that you turn the cut side down. And I bake this in the oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. The potatoes have been cooking in the oven for about 20 minutes, and I was gonna make a salad, but I have some broccoli in the fridge that needs to be used. So here I'm just going to add a little bit of olive oil, a little pinch of salt, some garlic powder, and black pepper. Give this a quick toss. I'm going to increase the oven heat to about 425 degrees Fahrenheit and bake this for about 15 minutes. Now let's check on these hens to see if they're ready. Alright guys, the potatoes are ready. We're going to add a little bit of seasoning and just give it a toss. Look how perfect that is. I am starving and I'm ready to eat, so let's plate everything. So here we've got our hen, our beautiful hen. Add some roasted potatoes and some broccoli. Let's give this Cornish hens a try. It's so juicy and moist on the inside. Let's try the potato. Crispy. It's delicious. For dinner tonight, I am making air fried bang bang salmon. Here I have a couple of salmon fillets, and I'm just going to cut them into small bite-sized pieces about this size. And now we're just going to season the salmon with a little bit of salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, chili powder, smoked paprika, and a little bit of Old Bay. Give this a quick toss. So my 10-year-old said he did not have a taste for salmon tonight. So here I have a chicken breast that I've cut into bite-sized pieces, and I use the same seasoning as the salmon. And now we're just going to let this sit for a few minutes. So after 50 minutes, we are ready to cook the salmon. I'm just going to give it a little spray, and you want to make sure that you don't spray inside the air fryer because it can ruin the air fryer lining basket. And now we're going to cook the salmon in the air fryer at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 13 to 15 minutes. So now we're going to make our rice. A little secret here, I rarely ever use a rice cooker to cook my rice. I usually just use a pot. Here I have 3 cups of water and 1.5 cups of rinsed basmati rice. Once it comes to a boil, you're going to give it one last stir and set it to the lowest setting. Cover, and you're going to leave this alone for 15 minutes. In the meantime, I'm just gonna go ahead and make the bang bang sauce. So here we have Kewpie mayo, which is a Japanese style mayo. And there really isn't a correct measurement to this. It's really just depending on your taste buds. So here we've got the mayo, I would say maybe 3/4 cup. Next, we've got sweet Thai chili. Again, you can just add and then taste as you go. A little bit of honey. I also like to add a little bit of rice vinegar in here because I feel like it needs a tang. So you can also use lime juice or lemon juice, but here I'm just going to add a little bit of rice vinegar. And last but not least, of course, a little bit of sriracha. Now, because my kids are going to be eating this, I have to be very careful. I can always add some later onto my plate. Now we're just going to give it a whisk. That is really yummy. And I think my kids can handle the heat in this. Here I have some green beans, and I'm just going to snip the ends. So here I have some oil heating up, and now I'm just going to flash fry the green beans for about 2 minutes. Make sure you do this carefully because it's going to splash. After about 3 minutes, you're going to remove the green beans from the skillet, draining as much oil as you can. So I removed all but about a tablespoon of oil, and now we're going to return the green beans into the skillet. Add some minced garlic, a pinch of salt. I don't remember where I saw this recipe, but I made this one time and it was so delicious. Here we're just going to cook the green beans with the garlic for about a minute. And now we're going to turn off the heat and just add a little drizzle of sesame oil. Give that a toss. Okay, so the rice is done. You guys see how fluffy this rice is? You do not need a rice cooker to make the perfect rice. So the green beans are done, the rice is done, and now our salmon is done. Look how good that looks. So now it's time to toss it with the sauce, and the way that I like to do this is I like everyone to just do their own thing. So here's my salmon portion, and now everyone can decide how much sauce they want in their salmon. So that's my portion, and also this is where I add a little bit more sriracha. And now we're just going to give it a quick toss. Okay, so here's my plate. I'm going to add a little bit of rice. Well, maybe a lot of rice. I'm starving today. I'm gonna add my green beans. Now I'm just going to put my bang bang salmon right on top. Oh, that looks so good. Drizzle some sauce right on top. Now you guys know how much I love green onions, so I'm just going to add that right on top. And there you have it. Let's give this a try. I'm gonna try the salmon first. Bang bang sauce is just delicious on any protein. Let's try the green beans again. Yep, still good. For dinner tonight, I am making ayam mentega, which is an Indonesian style chicken dish. Here I have 5 drumsticks and 4 chicken thighs with the bone in and skin on. Every time I make this recipe, I have to always double it because we love it and my kids like to take the leftovers to school for lunch the next day. Here I'm just cutting the chicken into small pieces. I place the chicken inside of a bowl, and now we're just going to marinate the chicken with a little bit of soy sauce, a little pinch of salt, some white pepper, a little bit of chicken bouillon, and just a couple of tablespoons of cornstarch, and a little squeeze of lemon or lime. And now we're just going to gently toss. And now we're just going to cover and let this sit for about 30 minutes. And now we are ready to cook our chicken. And normally you want to deep fry the chicken pieces, but I think I'm just going to broil this. And now we're just going to add our chicken pieces. And you want to make sure that you give this chicken pieces a little extra room in between. And just give it a little spray right on top. And now we're going to put this in a broiler for about 30 minutes, flipping halfway. Here I have an onion that I'm going to slice thinly. I'm mincing a couple of extra cloves of garlic. I'll be using some to saute our Napa cabbage that I'll be serving with the AYAM mentega. I have about 10 more minutes on the chicken, so I'm gonna get started on our Napa cabbage. Here I have a whole head of Napa cabbage that I've rinsed, and I'm just going to cut them into small pieces. I'm actually going to cut them into thin strips like this. Kind of looks like long noodles. Add a little bit of oil into a skillet. Add some sliced shallot. Add some minced garlic. And now we're going to add our Napa cabbage. Add a little bit of chicken bouillon, some salt, and a little bit of white pepper. Add some water. Lower the heat, cover, and we're going to cook this for about 5 to 6 minutes. Alright, the chicken is ready, and now we are ready to make AYAM mentega. Into a wok, you're going to add a little bit of oil. Add the sliced onion. We're just going to saute this for about 4 minutes. And now we're going to add some minced garlic. I also added 4 tablespoons of butter. Technically, you want to use Blue Band margarine, which is an Indonesian branded margarine. However, I didn't have any, so I just used regular butter. AYAM mentega literally translates to butter chicken in Indonesian. However, it's not the butter chicken that you're used to, like an Indian style curry. It's literally just chicken cooked in butter. And now we're going to add some Worcestershire sauce, some oyster sauce, kecap manis. This is very popular in Indonesian dishes. As you can see, I'm almost out. You're also going to need a little bit of ketchup, a little bit of sugar, some chicken bouillon, a little white pepper. Now just give this a quick toss. And now add the chicken, a little bit of water. And now we're just going to combine the sauce with the chicken. After a few minutes, you're going to lower the heat and cover. We're going to cook this for about 5 minutes. Alright, let's check out our Napa cabbage. Oh, right, this is actually done, and I'm just going to give it a quick toss. This is such an easy and quick vegetarian dish. You just need shallot, garlic, salt and pepper, or whatever seasoning that you like, and you can cook it to the texture that you like. I'm going to serve this with a little bit of rice. I'm going to put the AYAM mentega right on top. Oops, I'm making a mess here. I really love the onion here, so I'm just going to add a little bit more on top. And then a little bit of that Napa cabbage right on the side, just like that. Let's give this a try. We actually eat this with our hands, so make sure you wash them first. This is like one of my favorite Indonesian dishes. For dinner tonight, I am making baked chicken Alfredo. I don't even know why it's called Alfredo. It's so far from an authentic Alfredo sauce, but that's just what it's called. I've preheated my oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I've got my pasta cooking in the back. You can use whatever pasta shape that you like. Here I've got 2 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. I'm going to pound this out so that they can cook evenly. And now I'm just going to season both sides with a little bit of salt, pepper, a little pinch of chicken bouillon. You guys know I love seasoning my chicken with a little bit of chicken bouillon. It gives it so much flavor. And just a tiny pinch of Italian seasoning. Into a skillet, I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil, a little pat of butter, and now we're just going to add our chicken. And now we're going to remove the chicken breast from the skillet. Look how good that looks. Into the same skillet, you don't have to wipe it or anything. We're going to add 6 tablespoons of butter. Once the butter has melted, we're going to add some flour. Give that a whisk. We're going to cook this for about a minute. Make sure you scrape off the bits from the bottom of your skillet. And now we're going to add some minced garlic. Here I have 2 cups of milk and 1 cup of heavy cream. You can do all heavy cream if you want it creamier, or you can just do all milk. You can also use a little bit of chicken broth if you want it thinner. I'm going to slowly add this to the mixture, and I did warm it. I'm just going to slowly whisk it in. You just want to whisk this gently until it has thickened, and you want to make sure there are no lumps in here. And now we're going to slowly add 1 cup of Parmesan cheese. And now we're going to add our seasoning. I have a little bit of salt, a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder, and black pepper. We're just going to give this a stir. Make sure you give this a taste and adjust the seasoning to your liking. So here we've got our pasta. I'm just going to add our sauce right on top. And here we've got our chicken. I just cut them into strips. You can dice them up, shred it, however you want to do it. We're just going to add that right inside the pot. And now we're just going to give it a quick toss. And now we're just going to add our pasta Alfredo chicken right inside. And now we're just going to top this with some mozzarella cheese. You can add as much as you like. And now we're just going to bake this in the oven at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. So while the pasta's in the oven, I'm just going to give my kids this snacking veggies. If you're familiar with my lunchbox videos, these are typically the type of veggies that I give to my kids inside their lunchboxes. They don't really go with anything, but they're just great to snack on. They're sweet and crunchy, and I also gave them a little bit of honey Dijon mustard. So we have another 20 minutes for the pasta. They're hungry right now, so they're just going to be snacking on this. So my husband and I are just going to share this Taylor Farms avocado ranch. We love this one. So here I'm just going to place it inside of a bowl. Now I don't actually add the little corn and cheese. I'm just going to add the dressing. So now we're just going to give this a quick toss. I like to let it sit with the dressing for about 15 minutes before I actually eat it. Alright guys, the pasta is ready. Look how good that looks. I'm just going to sprinkle some parsley right on top to make it look pretty. Alright, and now I'm just going to take this little corner piece for myself. Oh my goodness, look how good that looks. And now I'm just going to put my salad right on the side like that. And I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of chili flakes on top of my Alfredo. Alright, let's give this a try. Got a little bit of chicken and pasta. You guys, that is so delicious. You have to make this, okay? Let me know in the comments below which was your favorite dish from this week. And that's it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I will see you next time. Bye.